Why does every game against the Penguins always have to end in nail-biting fashion? You've got to learn to go with the flow more, Johnny. Yes, Jersey guy, but I still have PTSD from Game 6. I'd rather win more comfortably. Enjoy these games more. Ever since that heartbreak, think of the good times. The Preds beat the Penguins in that amazing shootout during the President's Trophy season. Well, that's true. And then there's Luke Evangelista's debut in a Preds uniform last year against the Penguins. Well, I guess you have a point. It's a learning experience, right? These young guys, along with the experienced players on this roster, play together and learn together and win more together. And of course, we can't forget Big Sexy tonight. Everybody's hands go up, way up, and keep them there for a count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As the Nashville Predators defeat the Pittsburgh Penguins by a score of 3-2 in overtime Tuesday night inside Bridgestone Arena. On the back of a 29th save performance by one UC Saros, 2 goals by Big Sexy Michael McCarron, a walk-off winner, his 12th of the season by Philip Forsberg. The Preds have now won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Earlier Tuesday before this game, it was announced that Preds defenseman Spencer Stastny would be sent back down to Milwaukee due to roster spots. And, it just so happens sometimes that if defensemen who are healthier make more money, they get more playing time. Stastny still has time to grow, and I am sure if he keeps up what he has shown in Nashville and continues to work down in Milwaukee, he'll be a full-time Predator in no time. As for this game, coming into today, whether or not you were in Nashville or you're a Preds fan, around the world in the US, Canada, or wherever, you could smell it in the air. For today, it's Penguins Hate Day. It's been 6 years, but no matter how many years go by, you're always going to have a hate on for the team that snatched your first cup chance away from you. Both teams had their share of chances through the first half of the first period. Few whistles, but the Penguins did have the edge in shots. Finally, though, just under the halfway mark of the first period, Tyson Barrie gets a shot off from the point towards the net and Tristan Jarry's cage. And lo and behold, it's number 47, Michael McCarron. Yes, Michael McCarron gets a tip on it. It beats Jarry. The Preds have a 1-0 lead on those hated Penguins. Just over a minute later, though, UC Saros is called upon to make a key clutch save as the Penguins tried desperately to come the other way and get that goal right back. But Saros maintains the Preds lead. Preds would still sustain some pressure and be under duress for the next few minutes as we reach 3 minutes left to go in the first period. Still clinging to that lead. Need to shake off the cobwebs and get into this game, guys. Well, just about 90 seconds left to go in the first period. Preds on the attack in the Penguins zone. The refs call the Penguins for a penalty, but it's a delayed one because the Preds still have possession. And they're passing it around, trying to get a good shot off. And I'm watching this game with my brother, and I just so happen to say, even though I have no video proof to show you, I happen to say out loud, hey, if they want to score here before getting a chance to score in the power play, go right ahead. I'd rather have the goal now. Well, they must have heard me because the puck comes over to Tomasino, who can see a screen, and he's trying to get a shot off and hope for the best, and it goes towards the net. Rebound off of Tristan Jarry, and here comes Big Sexy once again, Michael McCarron, as he is diving over like he's taking a board guarding a president, and he gets a shot off as he's falling, and it beats Tristan Jarry. The Preds, just like that, have a 2-0 lead on those GD Penguins. Just like a shot of adrenaline, the Preds are fired up, the fans are fired up, and the Preds have a 2-0 lead after 1 on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Just shy of the first minute mark of the second period, Jeremy Lauzon gives the Penguins a great chance to climb back into this game as he gets called for hooking Evgeny Malkin, and the Penguins set up. Riley Smith gets a great chance to cut into the Preds lead, but the Preds hold the Penguins at bay for now and still maintain their 2-0 lead. Almost 6 minutes, though, into the middle frame. Pens in transition. You've got Riley Smith who drop passes it to Evgeny Malkin, and he's not going to miss with a shot like this too often. If you let him have the shooting lane, he rifles it home past Saros. Preds lead is now cut to 2-1. A minute after the Penguins have cut into the Preds lead, John Ludwig of the Penguins and Michael McCarron of the Predators get into a scrap. And it's a feisty one to try and fire up both of their teams. The Preds to hopefully get a 2-goal lead back, and the Penguins to tie it. And at this point, not only does Michael McCarron have a chance at an actual hat trick, he also has a chance at the Gordie Howe hat trick with a goal and a fight. All he needs is an assist. Fast forward to the second half of the second period. Penguins still with the edge in shots. Preds biding their time, trying to keep the Penguins at bay best they can and hang on to the lead. The Penguins had a chance at a great 2-on-1 to try and get the tying goal, but Ryan McDonagh actually times the block better this time than he did against the Jets and is able to prevent the scoring chance. Under 5 minutes left to go in the second period. Then we fast forward to 2 minutes left to go in the second period. Preds doing well to defend the shooting and passing lanes, not giving the Penguins many options. Missed opportunity for the Preds to extend their lead as Sissons and Josi have a 2-on-1, but though they can't score, they do bait the Penguins into another penalty taken on their side. Chris Letang argues feverishly against the holding call that is assessed to Marcus Pettersson against Colton Sissons by official Jordan Samuels Thomas, and the mic is actually able to pick up Jordan Samuels Thomas saying to Chris Letang, "Would you like to join him?" And if the Preds fans in attendance actually were paying attention, maybe some of them did hear it on the loudspeaker, I'm sure all of us would be, "Yes, please, make it a 5-on-3. But alas, it's only a one-man advantage. Preds aren't able to score on the first portion of it before the intermission break, still clinging to their 2-1 lead after 40. Third period starts, Preds unable to score on the carryover of the holding call, though a crossbar was wrong, so they came close. Unfortunately, you can't keep a good team like the Penguins down if all your scoring to this point in the game is going to come from Michael McCarron. Penguins eventually are able to tie this game back up at 2, rust about 2.5 minutes into the third period. 6.5 into the third period, Cole Smith gets tagged for hooking, and the Penguins go to work, try ever as they can to try and get the lead. They even have a great chance where Malkin is found on the back door, but Saros keeps it out. 12 minutes left to go in the third period, in regulation. Game tied at 2. Fan base starting to grip a little bit, remembering the good old days against this team. Under 6 minutes to go in regulation, Chris Letang, who loses his helmet, plays the puck, and there's some disagreement, especially with the Preds Bowie feed, if that should have been a penalty or not. But upon clarification, if you are playing the puck when your helmet comes off, you are able to proceed as long as you don't try to play the puck with your helmet off. So, right call by the refs not to call a power play on the Preds there. Down to 4 minutes left to go in regulation. Game tied at 2. And the negative part of myself, considering the history of the Penguins, all I can think about is, please don't get stabbed in the heart one more time with very little time left to go to tie it. Please don't let that happen, hockey guys. Please don't. Final seconds tick down in regulation. Preds get one offensive zone face-off. One. Tomasino gets a desperation shot off. It is no good. Teams tied at 2 apiece. After 60 minutes, we're off to overtime. Well, I hope you were able to sit down, because if you were standing up, you obviously didn't sit down, because how many of you thought that this overtime game would end this quickly? After Ryan O'Reilly had won the faceoff, he stays ahead for a pass for somebody to pass it to him as it works its way back into the Preds zone for Josi and Forsberg to set up. Josi gets the puck and he gets it over to Forsberg, who carries the puck out, and the Penguin players are staying back trying to guard the line to see where it goes. And as Forsberg rushes into neutral zone over the center ice line, Ryan O'Reilly keeps a skate on line on the onside blue line as him and Crosby come together, bang together in a heap, as Forsberg is like, "Hey, thank you, I'll come right in, and I'll skate right in, backhand, forehand, roof, pass, Christian, Jory, glove side, the Preds walk it off 3-2. Much to the chagrin of the Penguins protesting, Chris Letang and Erik Karlsson are disgusted. The Penguins try to plead their case that they thought it was offside, but no. Ryan O'Reilly had a skate onside, and even if he didn't, Crosby could be argued prevents him from getting onside when he was clearly trying to. The Preds have a flair for the dramatic. They have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row as they walk off the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, I'd kind of like to know, who flipped the switch on this team to light a fire under them after they were 5-10, if you remember, with their record? I want to know. I want to reward you. Don't worry, you're not in trouble, because after starting 5-10, this team is now one game over NHL 500 for the first time all season. Other than that Chicago game against, let's admit it, an inferior team, and we're not going to get into the mess it is the Chicago Blackhawks right now. This ain't a Blackhawks fan reaction video. After that win, this team has beaten good opponents on their way to 6 wins in a row. Hasn't been easy, and it's not going to get any easier as you have the Minnesota Wild coming to town, who just snapped a long losing streak themselves. And did you hear what they did Monday? Unless you've been living under a rock, after the losing streak that the Wild eventually snapped Tuesday night, the Wild made a coaching change, and guess who they hired, Preds Nation? John Hynes. Yes, that very John Hynes who Andrew Brunette has replaced as Preds bench boss. True to form, Minnesota continues to be Nashville North, with people they put in the front office, people they put on their roster, and now people they put behind their bench. Yeah, it came out that Billy Guerin, general manager of the Minnesota Wild, called Barry Trotz for permission, since technically he was under contract with the Preds still, but the Preds gave permission and a deal is done, and now Minnesota has their new coach. Like I said, Minnesota won with John Hynes on Tuesday, but don't think Thursday is going to be easy and be a letdown for them. I'm sure, just like we would for a new coach, Hynes is going to have that team fired up against a team that let him go, and are going to tell his players the intricacies of how to gain the advantage and possibly get 2 in a row for a Wild. So be ready, Preds roster. Be ready, Preds fan. Don't take the Wild for granted. During the pregame lineup announcement on Thursday, by all means, when it comes time for Paul McCann to say the coach of the Wild is John Hynes, give him a hearty, he sucks too. It's a rite of passage for any Preds former coach who comes back to Smashville. Barry Trotz went through it with Washington. He went through it, I'm sure, softly with the Islanders. Laviolette went through it with the Capitals, and he's going to go through it with the Rangers, and so should Hynes. It's just what Preds Nation does when they react to the opposing roster and coach. But also on the bright side, Preds Nation, when the Preds played a tribute video for John Hynes, because he was a good bridge after Laviolette with roster turnover to finally get this team in the right direction. When they played a tribute video, give him a round of applause that he deserves. And then it's back to hating everything about the Minnesota Wild for the duration of Thursday's game. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. You can find my social media as always by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about Redemption and the Preds' active 6-game win streak. And love him or hate him, Preds Nation, John Hynes is returning to Smashville as the opposing head coach on Thursday.